Hello and welcome to Lunchtime Politics, reaching you live from our global headquarters here in the nation's commercial nerve center, Lagos. I'm Jeffrey Uzongo. Let's bring you up to speed with the big political stories we're tracking at this very hour. President Bola Tinubu says his administration's economic reforms are yielding results, giving rise in federal allocations to state, maintains that the worst days are gone. The altercation between Senator Natasha Akpoti and Senate President Godswill Akpabio escalates as the Kogi lawmaker sues Senator Akpabio for defamation following statement credited to the Senate President's aide. And former President Goodluck Jonathan and former INEC Chairman Atahiru Jagab seek for effective electoral institution devoid of political interference. Thanks again for joining us on the program where we keep tab with what's happening in the polity and in politics. And where we will naturally start from is some comments made yesterday by former President Goodluck Jonathan at a forum where the issues were around electoral reforms and independence of the electoral body. And the former president clearly stated that the elections and electoral reforms are absolutely necessary, but it must be devoid of political interference. Let's listen to him.
The electoral commissions must be really fully independent. And we must have credible people that, from what like the guy is saying, if political leaders who are so domineering over-pressurize you, you must do what is wrong. You should be able to resign and leave. I feel that our electoral processes are too regionalized. The interests of regions, and where the interests of regions overwhelm the national interests, the electoral processes will always be moderate.
And also, the former chairman of INEC, Professor Tahiru Jega, had also talked about the fact that elections, for it to be effective, just like the former president says, it must be devoid of political interference, even in the appointment and removal of electoral commissioners.
To be able to get elections right, you need an election management body that can do its work professionally, impartially, efficiently in order to deliver election results with integrity. There is political interference in the appointment and or removal of electoral commissioners and other election officials. Citizens, credible civil society organizations, and democratically inclined political actors, what I call drivers of change, should continue to mobilize effectively for credible and sustainable electoral democratic processes in our country or in our sub-region. There has been noticeable progress in the establishment and strengthening of relatively independent election management bodies. They face a lot of challenges, but they need to be strengthened and enabled to be professional in their work and to ensure that they conduct elections with integrity.
So there you have it, two gentlemen, the former president who could not secure a second term and the man who presided over that election, all in one space, speaking about the very same things in terms of institutional independence, starting with places like INEC and election managers. But let's go away from that to tell you that things happening in the red chambers that occurred on the 20th during the plenary, where there was a mild drama due to the altercation between the senator representing Kogi Central, Mrs. Natasha Akpoti, and the Senate President, following a refusal of the former seats to be relocated. Well, the latest development from that controversy is that the Senate has now referred Senator Natasha Akpoti to its Committee on Ethics, Privileges and Public Petitions for disciplinary review. The committee, chaired by Senator Neda Imaswen, has been given 2 weeks to investigate the matter and submit its findings. The decision was reached after a voice vote on Tuesday as lawmakers revisited the dispute over seating arrangements in the chamber. Senators stressed the importance of upholding parliamentary decorum and adherence to established rules. Raising a motion under section the Senate Order 1B and 10, Senate spokesperson Yemi Adaramodu condemned what he describes as Mrs. Akpoti's extreme transigence during the plenary session. According to him, the issue had dominated media discussion, forcing him to work on repairing the public perception of the 10th Senate.
The president.
But Senator Natasha Akpoti did not take long to react to the matter. She has gone to court to file a suit against the Senate President, Senator Akapbio, to the tune of 100 billion naira for allegedly defaming her. In the suit filed before the Federal Capital Territory High Court, the President of the Senate and the senior legislative aide to the Senate, Mfon Patrick, were listed as the second to third defendant. In the suit, Senator Akpoti, through her lawyer, Victor Giwa, alleged that the words by the Senate President and published, alleged that the words, in the suit, I should beg your pardon, in the suit, Senator Akpoti, through her lawyer, Mr. Giwa, alleged that the words by the Senate President and published by his aide on his Facebook page with the title, "His Local Content Committee of the Senate, Natasha's Birthright," where he stated that the claimant thought that being a lawmaker is all about makeup and wearing transparent outfits to the chambers. Mr. Giwa says the statement on Mrs. Udohan was defamatory, provocative, disparaging, and lowered our dignity in the eyes of our colleagues and right-thinking members of the public. Senator Akpoti Udohan had urged the court to restrain the defendant or associate from publishing defamatory words against her on any platform. She also urged the court to order the defendant to pay her the sum of 100 billion naira as damages and 300 million naira as litigation cost. The senator representing Kogi Central had voiced her concern after her seat was reassigned due to a reshuffle in the red chamber. And let's now tell you that we are keeping tabs on happenings at the national headquarters of the All Progressives Congress, where the leaders are actually converging for its National Executive Committee meeting slated to start any moment from now. All roads leading to that venue that you can see on your screen at the Blantyre Street have been cordoned off by a combined team of security members of from the armed forces down to police. Some early arrivals at the venue includes National Working Committee members, among others, waiting the arrival of Mr. President. Meanwhile, at the caucus meeting yesterday, President Bola Tinubu highlighted some of his reforms outcome, maintaining that the worst days are over.
The sunny side of this country is on the horizon. Things are getting better. The days of the glooms are gone. We are looking at the brighter and the sunny side. Our strategic repositioning requires us to build on our sources and project a forward-looking agenda that resonates with the hopes and aspirations of Nigerians. I am here promising that we are doing that. I have a commitment to our manifesto, progressive ideas, and the belief. The policies are difficult. There is no way Nigeria could have survived the continuation of oil subsidy. There's no way. Today I can beat my chest, and each of the governors here, that allocations to the states is tripled. We have enough funding for the local government. We have NEL fund to fund our children in the school. We can steer the future of this country and make a difference. I like what is happening around the world. If anything, it is teaching a lesson that we, particularly Nigerians, as a great African country, can build ourselves and help Africa to grow.
All right, those are the words of the president. Happy what's going on around the world, so we can look inward, saying his policies are working because FAC allocation has increased to states, and saying there was no way out of not removing fuel subsidy because Nigeria was on the brink of a precipice. So those were his words. Giving his report back to his party on whose platform he was elected as president. So that was yesterday's caucus meeting, I think at the Villa. Today, they are going to be holding the National Executive Committee meeting after almost 2 years of the party. And so, but we'll switch gears from there to Anambra State. The elections are coming in sometimes in November, and we're sure, perhaps we could say that Soludos will be expected to run for a second time. He hasn't said so yet, to the best of my knowledge. But we'll be joined in the program by Mr. Jimofo Okpara. He's the National Publicity Secretary of Akapbio. He joins us via Zoom from Oka, the state capital. Mr. Jimofo Okpara, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Yeah, thank you, Jeffrey, for having me.
All right, before we zoom into the state, let's do a bit of an outlook nationally. We have accused the APC, no, not the APC, now the PDP, the Labour Party, a couple of other parties of docility in being an effective opposition party. But if you look at a collection of all the states that have governors from APC, PDP, NNPP, Labour Party, and then ABGA, it's almost, would you say it would be extreme to say the most docile in terms of holding the federal government to account is the ABGA? Because we don't hear anything from you, the party leader, or even whoever, the gentleman that was the presidential candidate of the party. Why?
Okay, thank you, Jeffrey, for having me. And once again, good afternoon, viewers. You see this thing called opposition. It is not a license to, destructive criticism. It's not a license to destructive criticism. If you listen to the, party ABGA, we have thrown our voice on countless occasions. When you say you've not heard us, maybe you would need to check again, because I know we've thrown our voice on very, topical issues, from, issues of the tax reform bill up to even the subsidy. And, what we do, as a party, we believe that when the government in power is doing things that resonate with our core ideology, there is actually no need for you to begin to, throw away the baby and the bathwater. It's important that as a party, we understand when the government of the day crosses the line. By that, I mean the line of our core ideological bent as a party. So when that is not manifestly in place, ours is, largely to provide redirection where we perceive obvious infractions. But, where that is not done, and some people who are preoccupied with just throwing darts at government, people who believe that the failure of the government in power amounts to some level of success for them. That is not, our pattern, but that's not our way as ABGA. For us, we believe that a win by any government in power,
I understand what you're saying,
whether it is ABGA or whether it is PDP, it's a win for the country. So ours is to provide redirection where there are infractions. I know we've done a couple of that in the past.
My apologies. I can tell you for free that whatever, I'm not disputing that you've not said something, but I don't think it's effective. You understand? So it's so ineffective that we have to look for it to know what you're saying. And there's a lot going on in the country that a lot of people feel is not auguring well. The quality of the life of the people have been significantly impacted by the policies of the government. And the government has said, be patient. But moving on from there, that's why I'm saying... You
probably did not listen. One of the most resounding arguments advanced during the minimum wage determination just in the few months ago, one of the most resounding voices on nationally was the voice of nationality of the party. So if you say you've not heard ABGA, throw his own opinion on national issues, and it depends on what you're waiting to hear from Abga.
No.
If we're not
You're
saying
not getting
what you
it.
want us, what
We're
appeals to
not
your
trying to draw a
predilection,
straw man.
maybe.
We're not trying to draw a straw man argument. Okay, believe me, it's not as effective as it should be. I think we can all agree on that. So let's not debate on that. So we're saying you could do more. You're not doing enough. That's what I'm saying.
That's
Abga used to be, like a regional party, but it lost base literally. Now Abga appears to be confined to Anambra, and it looks like the party is contented. Is that the position? Because it looked very promising. I think Imo was Abga, a couple of one other states or so was Abga, but now for a very long time, Abga has been confined to Anambra. Is that what you want? What exactly is playing out here?
Okay, when you say Abga has been confined to Anambra, it also speaks to the quality of data available to you. Maybe if you say governorship,
governorship, yes,
because in terms of the states
yes.
we control. So, but the party is doing its utmost, and I can tell you that there is no party formed at the same time Abga was formed as an entity. Just very few parties are still maintaining the level of stability and the level of cohesion as the spirit of political party 22 years after. Talk about other political parties who are, some of them are not even, that you control a state or two does not mean that you are as cohesive or as stable as you should be. I wouldn't want to mention names, but I can tell you for free that Abga as a party has been that party that has gone through a lot of crucibles. We have gone through a lot of challenges, and we have come out stronger. Our challenges are not something that I should begin to rehash here, but let me just say this for the umpteenth time. Most of what we call national parties today are parties with some form of regional, coloration or some form of regional arrangement. Now they grew and were able to expand across the region, and then are able to form coalitions or form mergers to become what you now call a national party. And I can tell you that away from whatever excuses that may have challenges that may have plagued Abga in that time past, Abga is much stronger and much poised than ever before, to hit the ground running and to conquer more territories and be able to provide, most importantly for the people, very effective governance. And that's what's priority for us. Anybody who looks at Anambra, for instance, as a pilot or as a case study to evaluate Abga will tell you that Anambra has been on a steady ascendancy of progress. So if the governance is what Nigerians crave, and yet Anambra is providing that, it means that there is something about Abga and his destiny that the Nigerian people and Nigerian publics are with. And I can only tell you it's a matter of time, and we shall come to our full blossom.
Okay, we're waiting for that time. As a matter of fact, Mr. Opara, let's hope it happens pretty soon, because it used to be one of the dominant parties in the Southwest.
It's already happening. It's already happening, because, like I said, if your yardstick measurement about the number of states who control, maybe. But it's about our presence nationally. As I speak to you today, we have a couple of House members in Bayelsa. We have members of the federal legislature, from across the country in Taraba and Benue and across other parts of the country. You are not confined to Anambra like you are trying to paint. We are not, but we are building. And I will tell you, if you want to go far, go together. But if you want to go fast, go alone. We want to go far, so we don't want to just go alone. So gradually, we are.
So that we don't miss out on. So that we don't miss out on.
The progressives will definitely manifest.
Okay, so that we don't miss out on talking about Anambra, which is the reason I invited you. The point I was trying to make in all of this is the fact that Abga has potential and is not living up to that potential, perhaps, is what we're trying to say. Let's talk about Anambra politics for a moment. November, the people are going to file out to make a decision on what they want as for the next 4 years in their future. In your view, do you think Soludos, the governor, has done well enough to earn another opportunity for re-election?
Okay, well, I'll tell you, if you say well enough, you're actually begging the question. He has done exceedingly, and I mean exceedingly, compared relative to, what you get with other governors within the same scope and same time frame, and the availability of, resources available, within the same time, the same resources and every other thing, I believe he has exceeded even the expectations of the average man on the street in Anambra State. If his achievements, this is a government that has, as I speak to you currently, the figure is still increasing, but as I speak to you currently, over 759 kilometers of roads, have been, awarded across the state. Anambra has become what people now define as one huge construction site. And as of that 759 kilometers that have been awarded, more than 410 kilometers have been asphalted. This is a government that is taking up education, bullishly. As today in Anambra State, basic education, from nursery school to GSS 3 and from SS1 to SS3 in all Anambra public schools is absolutely free of charge. This is a government that came on board and in less than 5 months of its assumption of office recruited quality teachers, over 5,000 quality teachers in 5 months. Within the first 9 months of that office, it topped another 3,115, totaling about 8,115 quality teachers from across the country who are today deployed, all over the public schools in Anambra State to end the era of schools without teachers. This is a government that has also taken up, the health of the people quite personally. I must confess, as of today in Anambra State, we have absolutely free antenatal and free delivery for all pregnant women.
All right.
The figures are standing at 82,000 plus, deliveries that have taken place so far.
Mr. Apara, let me butt in for a moment because of time.
Have been through the cesarean session.
Right.
This is a government that.
All right, Mr. Apara, let me butt in just a moment. Let me butt in for a moment so that we can take more questions within the time we have. Great work you've mentioned the governor has done, but there are other issues that have not been done or people expect it to be done. And I was pleasantly surprised when I had to talk with the government of Enugu State that the whole sit at home is literally minimal or non-existent in Enugu. But I don't think that is the case in Anambra, and I want to find out why that is. Why is the state still grappling with the sit at home? If Enugu could do it, what is it that is done differently that could not be adopted? What are the challenges?
Okay, well, I'm happy. I would have actually said maybe you should have also spoken with the government of Anambra State, because the last time I checked, Anambra, there's no sit at home in Anambra anywhere. When you come to Anambra on a Monday, everywhere is bubbling. All the markets are open, offices are open, banks are functional. So anyone who is telling you that Anambra State observes sit at home is maybe speaking, is not updated. So Anambra, just like like I've told you, that I've been in Anambra State on Mondays. I have done bank transactions. I've been to markets. I have shopped, and today it's been the sit-at-home thing. The people have outgrown it, so it's something that the people have actually outgrown. It doesn't exist here, and that's exactly the fact of the matter. You can verify from your reporters who are on ground to also feed you in. But I can tell you that Anambra, the people of Anambra State have come up to own their land, because it has been established, beyond every reasonable doubt, that the whole sit-at-home thing has been, is something that has, some pervasive, criminal benefit to some persons who are enemies of the society, and the people have seen that it bears no significant benefit to them. It does them no good. If for anything, it is, bringing down the economy, their personal economic survival, and so of their volition. And with the support of the government, we have ended sit-at-home in Anambra State. So this is just the true position of things. And Anambra's economic fortunes are
So what about the issue of just as a wind down? Just a moment, as a wind down. What about the issue of tout in some parts of the city? That used to be a bit of a challenge. How is that coming through?
The governor and the government of the day went very bullish. As a matter of fact, in Anambra, it's a common saying that they are now popularly known as India Kodo. Places like Opiweka, which happened to be the epicenter of this whole touting situation.
Oh dear. Trying to talk to just.
If you go to a place like like a Piweka, it has become, something that the people now, take for granted. People shop, the touts are off our streets. So there's no inch of Anambra space that is under, the control of
All right,
any,
Mr.
where
Opara.
you find touts, either in our markets or parks or anywhere. So,
All right.
but that this thing, yeah.
No, just land on your thought. Land on your thoughts. We're totally out of time.
Okay, so what I'm going to say is that the government of the day is not just chasing these touts; they're also reforming them. For those of them who have, stepped up to say, okay, we want to leave this line of duty and line of business and become very responsible and productive. The government of the day has, through its 1U2 skill program, trained and empowered, majority. I can tell you for free, preponderant majority of these former touts. And they have become, some of them have also become employers of labor.
All right, Mr.
So
Opara.
the issue of tout is not, you can't put Anambra and tout in the same sentence anymore.
All right, fantastic. Great one. So we're going to be checking in on what's going on in the state. But I just got a report that the sit at home is not as strong as it used to be. That it doesn't mean it's been eliminated. So I wanted to put that on record. Maybe when we talk again, you're going to be able to debunk that as well. But this is live report I'm getting as far as the issue of sit at home is concerned. But I must thank you so much, Mr. Ejimofor Opara, the National Publicity Secretary of the All Progressives Grand Alliance, who joined us from Oka in Anambra State. Thank you, sir, for coming on the program.
Yeah, thank you, Jeffrey, for having me.
Right, just before we go, we can tell you that the Tony Okocha group of the All Progressives Congress is calling on the governor, Siminalayi Fubara, to obey the Court of Appeal judgment and present his budget to the River State House of Assembly, led by Martin Amewule. Let's take a listen to him.
We were the one that were approaching assembly members to join APC. And we have been misinterpreted. It's deliberate, it's not that they don't know. We are misinterpreted to have received them into APC. That's not what happened. My colleagues are here. Some of you, members of the press, were also with us. We had been appointed into the leadership of the party. And we felt the first thing to do was to introduce ourselves to the party and party members. So we organized a reception. We organized a Thanksgiving, and it was open air, to say to our party members, we are now on board. Please support us. Let us share our biases and prejudices together and put all together to make progress, for the party. In that event, we invited individual members of the assembly to join us, and they came. I need anybody to say to me that he saw a letter that I signed or the secretary signed, inviting them as an assembly. No, I signed. I in fact visited with them in their respect. I have relationship with them over time, and I said, look, I have this event. Can you come and add some vent to it? And they came.
All right, so that's Tony Okocha, one of the chieftains of the APC in River State. But just before we go, let's tell you that we're following up on what's going on at the APC National Secretariat, where presently in attendance at the NEC meeting are governors of Benue, Ondo, Ekiti, Kaduna, Jigawa, Nasarawa, Niger, Lagos, Kogi, Ogun, Imo, Kwara, deputy governors of Ebonyi, and former governor of Kogi, Kebbi, Niger, Edo, Zamfara, and Plateau. But conspicuously absent at the meeting is the former president Muhammadu Buhari, former governor of Kaduna State, Nasser El-Rufai, and former governor of River State and former minister of transport, Rotimi Chibike Amechi. The meeting is being presided over by the national chairman of the party, Abdullahi Ganduje. All right, we'll give you updates in our subsequent bulletin. Thank you for your time and company. I'm Jeffrey Ozama. You've been served on Lunchtime Politics. Bye-bye.